Smoking. All right. Grab a seat. Grab a seat. It is time to resume day 7 of the Sean Diddy Combs trial. This is the live breakdown of what transpired today. Oh, yes, it was quite a very interesting day. Please hit the notification bell, hit the like button, subscribe to the page if you're new here. Because what we do is we go off the transcript. We go after the actual evidence. We're not going about what they summarizing on television. We have to give you the real so that you would know what's going on. Now, I'm not making 75 videos in one day just to try to milk something. Sorry. You get the real, we put it down, and then you know it, and then you can go from there. Now, according to the transcripts by the Inner City Press, follow them on Twitter. They do a great job. They're in that courtroom doing a lot of work, and their appreciation is mountains loads because they have brought a lot of clarity to this trial, that there's no recordings, there's no video. So this is the only outlet they have to express what's transpiring inside the courtroom. So they asked this Diddy former employee, like, what did he set up? Yeah, he was like a personal assistant of Diddy's, David James. They said, like, well, what do you do? He said, I set up the medicine bag and the personal LV bag. So Slavic was like, what's in it? Viagra, ecstasy, perks. They was like, well, how did you go to replenish these supplies? He's like, I used my personal credit card. Bad boy paid me back. Who paid you back? Usually Bonds. Mr. Combs ever stay alone in a hotel? Never. Usually Cassie, sometimes other women. He'd text me for an iPod or food. Did anything strange ever happen? Yes, in Miami. He asked for an iPod from his house on Star Island. I drove to his hotel and I knocked, no answer. I had a key. I set up the room. What did you see? Cassie on the bed. And what else did you see? There was another person who sort of scurried away and the shower was on. I thought Mr. Combs was in there. How was she sleeping? On her back? Objection. Diddy's team said objection, and the judge said that's sustained. What about the other person? He was about 5'8", with long hair and a large endowment. He scurried away. Did you ask anything? I wasn't hired to ask about their personal affairs. Did you ever pick up drugs for Mr. Combs? Yes, Percocets at a pharmacy, sometimes in my name. Did you give him permission to use your name? I don't recall that. Was there a drug dealer? Yes, One Stop. The guy name was One Stop. They said he met with a lot of people. Yes, even former presidents. Which one? Former President Obama. So now Obama's being dropped at a Diddy party. So I'm like, what are they doing here? They just trying to go for shock and awe, ain't they? So they bring Obama's name up into the situation. Like, oh, hey, is Cassie ready? Yeah, I've been waiting a lot. I just had to get away from the house. Michelle, she could be a handful sometimes. Sean here. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's great to meet you. Oh, so she's she's oiled up already? Okay, that's great. That's great. All right. All right. Well, you already know me. I'm President Barack Obama. You can call me Obama. You can call me Barack. You can call me President. Just don't call my phone. All right, Cassie, get ready. I'm going to turn you over now. I'm going to get ready. I'm going to fold my clothes up here. You don't mind if I lay my pants here? They're creased. Now, I don't want them to get wrinkled. Let me take my shirt off here. Sorry, I haven't really been to the gym. Oh my God. So, right away, they name drop Obama. So they said, what was your understanding would have happened if you hadn't done these things? They was like, objection. They was sustained. They like, did you ever take ecstasy? Yes, I was drinking Ciroc. I took ecstasy. I was Diddy bopping. What do you mean? I was vibing. Did you speak with Mr. Combs about it? He was reviewing footage of the party. We had a videographer who filmed these parties. He asked me, hey, Playboy, was that you dancing around at the party? I said, yes. And he said, I'm going to keep the video in case I ever need it. He's like, meaning that I'll be embarrassed. Did anything ever go missing? They said a bracelet was missing. Uncle Paulie came to my hotel room and searched my belongings and those of my girlfriend at the time. Could you have said no? Objection. They was like, move on. The judge told her to move on. So she was like, did you ever have to take a lie detector test? Yes. Who was present? Just me and this gentleman. It was very intimidating. They put monitors on my head, my chest, and my hand. That's called the test. That's how they have to test you if you're taking a polygraph. Could you refuse? Not to keep my job. Did this happen again? Yes, when Mr. Combs said a watch of his had been stolen. What was the result? The gentleman told me I seemed nervous. I said, sure I am. Once Capricorn Clark had to take a lie detector test to prove she wasn't part of a heist of Mr. Combs' jury. Was there an incident at Mel's Diner with Suge Knight? Yes. I drove the Silver Navigator to get cheeseburgers. There, D-Rock said this MF for Suge Knight went over and said, what's up, Suge? Didn't recognize him. D-Rock said, I'm Biggie's boy. What happened next? We noticed 4 black SUVs to different sides of the parking lot. I saw someone hand Suge a gun. D-Rock said, we got to get out of here. We drove back to the house. What did you find there? Cassie was crying. Mr. Combs got in the vehicle. I saw 3 guns on his lap. 3 guns. I felt calm because we've been in a silver vehicle, now a black one. What did you find at Mel's Diner? Suge Knight had left. Drove around the block. What did you decide? To leave the company? They offered me other positions, but I just wanted to leave. My life was at risk. No further questions. All right, here comes the Diddy team to talk to this David James. You didn't tell all of this the first time. Diddy's head lawyer's in charge now. Agony fool. He said, you ain't say all this the first time around. You ain't said none of this. They told me to stop, to not say anything that would incriminate me. Look at the notes from your interview. Read it to yourself, then look up at me. He says, okay. How do you recognize Suge Knight? I listen to hip hop. Suge Knight do not rap, so I don't know how you say you listen to hip hop. Were you drinking or smoking pot? No, sir. Your mind was clear. as clear as it could be. Working 20 hours a week, 4 a.m. D-Rock opens the door. Suge Knight is a few cars over. Window open. D-Rock says, I'm Biggie's boy, and Suge recognizes him, gives him a dap. What's a dap? A handshake. Did you leave D-Rock at the diner? Why are you smiling? Because that's the crazy question. Why would I? Didn't you leave D-Rock at the diner? That makes no sense. I'm not asking what makes sense. I'm asking you, did you? No. You saw. Okay, you saw Cassie and Mr. Combs, right? Yes. Mr. Combs told me to drive. You didn't know where Mr. Combs got the guns, do you? I didn't know how. I didn't know we had guns until then. Have you ever been in a situation like that, David James? No. You didn't say, I don't want to drive to Suge Knight's with guns, no? What exactly did you want us to do? He said, I got the job. I was door-to-door salesman, then personal assistant. Now, you were going with guns to confront someone. It's not ideal, right? You knew how to get the Mel's Diner, right? I frequent there a lot of times. You never seen guns before, right? No. This is a radical departure from your job description. Is there an understatement? Is the understatement of the day so far. Do you have immunity? Ask my lawyer. I have some kind of offer agreement. Oh, a proffer agreement. You didn't tell anyone about this? Only my wife. Did you meet with the government this morning? Yes, briefly. About what might come up in Cross? Did the Mel Diners incident come up? Not that I recall. It's this morning. What did you talk about? Your style. I'm dying to ask what they said, but I won't. I have a few more mundane questions. I love mundane questions. Good. Where did you travel with Mr. Combs? Ibiza, London, St. Tropez. Where's these vacations? Were these like vacations? No, it was business oriented. So they said, well, what were you hired as? Personal liaison. But I was a personal assistant. He met a high-level roster of people. Second understatement of the day. Why? He met with a who's who. If it's important that he be prepared for these meetings, right? Yes. It was important that he be on time, right? No. We'll change meetings to fit his schedule all the time when he didn't want to show up at a certain time. So right away, this guy has agreed that he has a proffer agreement with the government. Now, why would this person have a proffer agreement in place? And prepped by the government before he even met. And about Mel's Diner. Now, this story has been told many different times from different places. D-Rock had told Gene Deal. Gene Deal told about Mel's Diner and said they were stuck in a diner, and Cassie brought guns to D-Rock. That Diddy was waiting in the car, and Cassie took the guns, put them in a bag, went in the diner, and gave it to D-Rock so he can get up out of there because they were surrounded. And he couldn't get up out the diner. And he said D-Rock told him that personally. And that was from Gene Deal. So something just don't seem right. Right? Don't that sound pretty weird when you say it like that? And if you're the personal assistant who haven't done anything, what do you need a proffer agreement for? What did you do? Now, somebody's story about Mel's Diner is completely different. And the fact that this guy is saying things that he never said in March, that sounded like it's like a reoccurring theme. People are saying things that they didn't testify to back in March. We heard that yesterday, and we're hearing it again today with David James. As we continue, he says, they said he had security because people wanted to touch him, right? He said, yes, in the airport. In McDonald's? He was, yeah, was he gracious? I don't think he was gracious is a word I use for Sean Combs. He did sign some autographs. No, he didn't. You said he stayed in the building, in the studio, until 3 to 4 a.m. Did you stay with him? Yes, it was common. What sort of things would he want to always have with him? Ketchup, for example. What did you know he put applesauce on cheeseburgers? No, but I knew he likes applesauce. He liked Astroglide, condoms, and baby oils. Did you not express that through the business? Usually not. I was told he didn't want to run them through the company. He didn't want a record of that stuff. So when you bought 8 balls of Coke on Central Pays, pronounced Central Pays, you didn't tell Mr. Combs, did you? He was asleep. So tell me about your relationship with Roger Bonds. We talked about Bad Boy as a family. What do you mean by that? Mom, what was the mission? Make sure he's happy. So this dude bought an 8 ball of Coke in Central Pays, south of France. And if you saw my Patreon video, you are blessed. Believe me, you saw one of the most powerful videos I've ever made. And you know all about Central Pays. French Riviera, and that explosive video that I just dropped. But this is beyond that right now. It is beyond that. So when Diddy was asleep, this guy went and bought an 8 ball of Coke. So that tells me about him. And then they said, was it fun making Diddy happy? I enjoyed it from time to time. What was your relationship with Chef Jordan? Professional. Did you choke her? No. Objection, sidebar. Okay, so they go and meet up there. The prosecution and Diddy's defense go in there, and they're asking David James, did he choke the chef? And they said, well, tell me what happened. We were on Style Island. She told me where to take him. I grabbed her 2 wrists and said, stay in your effing lane. Was there a fallout? It was reported to corporate HQ. Combs called me in. Mr. Combs told me you can't be putting your hands on women. He told me to give her a gift. What did you give her? I rolled up a blunt and gave it to her. Did she like it? It appeared she did. Were you in a car with Mr. Combs and who? Chris Lighty. You have taken ecstasy. I partied, sure. What were things like in the studio? Drugs? Yes, it was a creative environment. Did you smoke when working with Mr. Combs? But he well, he said, I didn't smoke when I worked with Mr. Combs. But he caught you smoking once, right? I thought he was in for the night. I lit it up. He came out. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing." If you're man enough to smoke, you're man enough to tell me. I said, "Okay, I'm smoking." He said, if I did it again, he'll fire me. How about when he picked you up, two prostitutes, had sex with one? Objection 403. Overruled. She asked for $200. I called Bonds and asked, what the hell? She asked to take a shower. I said, that's $200. On that note, no further questions. So they redirect. That's all they wanted to ask him. They've proven that this witness is not a witness at all. This person was a participant. This dude didn't put hands on the female chef, the one that's so witty. This doggone cokehead dude who's smoking weed all the time. He's sleeping with prostitutes. He's out here getting down. This dude dirty as the damn South, and you threw him on the damn stand. What was he supposed to prove? All he did is Diddy told him, hey, man, we can't be hitting women. You got to do that. Diddy, like, look, anyone kicking ass is me. This dude admitting that he was out buying drugs. Diddy was asleep. So how did he get an order to buy drugs and he's out here doing this? He's like, Diddy was asleep, right? Yeah, he was in. You bought an 8-ball of coke in San Tropez. This dude is dirtier than the South. He is not helping the prosecution one bit. What did they put him on the stand for? So now they got the redirect here. They got to try to clean this up. They were like, well, what about the incident in Alpine, New Jersey? See, they want to go right back to some abuse. To file a report and say that Chef Jordan had been the aggressor, but I didn't file it. I drove around and told him I'll make the report. He said, what have we asked you to do? Tell the truth. Nothing further. So they said, all right, well, y'all want to play that game? I'll go up there. You lied to Mr. Combs about filing the report, right? Yes. No further questions. They was like, can we recross? Diddy lawyer asked one question. You lied to Mr. Combs about filing the police report, did you? Yes. No further questions, Your Honor. That's how you do it. That dissolves. David James is eliminated. He is off the board. He is off the board. A proven liar, dopehead, prostitute that charged him $200. God, he even gave up the price. They didn't even have to do that. Judge is like, we're going to take a break. This is what I'm talking about. They putting compromising people on the stand. That's what I told y'all. The transcripts don't lie. The transcripts is finally gonna tell the truth. Ain't none of these doggone people who doing stuff for clicks and views. I ain't worried about them. I'm looking at the transcripts. That's what matters in the case. The transcripts. So today I was just like, all right, because they finally getting to the charges. They're finally getting people up here to go after the charges. That's when they was like, well, when are you going to get to your plane and try to get it ready for landing? You're all over the place. Today, they finally decided, let's try to go after the actual charges we got for the man. God damn. Can you do that in your trial? Can you get to the charges, please? So we starting to do that now. So they come back, and then the jurors are like, they was like, we're going to try to get the temperature turned up in here because I know it's kind of cold. It's complicated. And the judge is like, I'm freezing right along with you. So the government, because it's freezing in there. Yeah, everybody was talking about how cold it was in the courtroom. Because, see, the temperature changed in New York. It wasn't as hot as it was the last week. It's been cool this week. So they called Regina Ventura, the mother of Cassie. Oh, buddy, do we got some stuff for that? They thought this was a home run. Where do you live? New London, Connecticut, where she grew up. How many children do you have? 2, Roderick and Cassandra. Who is this? Sean Combs. He dated my daughter. When did you meet Sean Combs? In 2006. My daughter signed with his Bad Boy Records. He was her boss. Then they started dating. They moved to LA. Read this message from December 2011. Cassie wrote to me. She says Sean threatened to release a sex tape and go after her and Mr. Cuddy. How did you read? It made me sick. Sean Combs demanded $20,000, he said, to recoup losses due to Mr. McCuddy from my husband and myself. Where did you take a loan to pay Mr. Sean Combs? For the safety of my daughter. Look in the binder next to you. These are the photos I took of my daughter's bruises from Sean Combs. Did you know Mia? She was an employee of Sean Combs. What happened? We were in his kitchen laughing. Sean asked her why she was laughing. She stopped and looked plain. Now to August 2016. We're done with the... While in LA, did you call the police? Yes. Sean Combs stole Cassie's phone. They had a bigger argument outside of her apartment building. She lived on the 17th floor. They argued at the roundabout. Who else was there? D-Rock. Is Damian Butler his government name? He was standing between us. I tried to hit him. Sean Combs took Cassie's car, a Jaguar. No further questions. So they were done with the mom. So they was like, cross, the defense is like, no questions. They don't even want to talk to the mom. They don't want to talk to Cassie's mom. So they were like, she was so good. She brought all this damning evidence. The lady was on the stand for about 3 goddamn minutes. What damage did she do? They didn't even want to cross-examine her because it doesn't even matter. She didn't talk about anything tangible that they could even talk about. He took Cassie's phone. He did this. She's basically going over domestic violence. And they tried to say that he extorted them to pay them. That's the only thing that she said in this whole testimony was about them having to pay him $20,000 for damages lost between Cuddy and whatever, and they thinking this is $20,000 to stop the tape from coming out, which is extortion. Like he extorted the family for $20,000 and she took out a loan to pay Diddy back to protect her daughter. Now, that's the only thing that she said that's damning. Everything else is personal stuff. But they decided not to even cross her. Don't even put her on the stand. Because she's a mother. It's only going to get more sympathy from the jury. The quicker they get her in, get her out, no problem. Now, let's go on to what else you got. It's like, next witness. The government called Mr. Shirey Hayes. They was like, Shirey Hayes, where you from? Harlem, New York? Where you from? Like, what's your work? I'm a male exotic dancer, baby. They know me as the Punisher. So this man is known as the Punisher. They say, do you recognize these two? Yeah, I do. That's Mr. Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura. I was hired in 2012 to create a sexy, erotic scene for them. It was like, why do they call you the Punisher? Playing basketball on West 4th Street. The women who called you, what time did they book you for? Uh, Trump Tower. Yeah, Central Park West. Striptease for a small, group of friends. They was like, okay, when you got there, how did Mrs. Ventura appear to you? In a bathroom with nothing bathrobe with nothing underneath and a wig. I was expecting a crowd, but there was no one else. She told me she and her husband wanted to create a sexual scene with baby oil. Lots of baby oil. Yeah. What else did she hand you? $800. Yeah. How was the room? Dimly lit. Electric candles. Bowls of water. Bottles of baby oil in them. She told me not to acknowledge her husband. Not to look at him when he came out. Did he come out? Yes. He was naked. But I could not look at his face. It was like a Muslim woman wears. He got one of those things over his face where only his eyes were shown. And he had a bottle of Astroglide. How did you recognize it? I use it. Yeah, that purple top. Ooh, yeah. They was like, how did it end? She went into the other room with him. And when she came back, she asked if I wanted to finish. I said no. If they were happy, I was happy. She gave me more money. I said, do you do it? Did you do it again? Yeah. 8 or 12 more times. They said, how did you end up recognizing her? I was a fan of Mr. Combs, and I followed him on Instagram. Yeah, I saw her in it. This would be a good place to take a break. So they take a break. While the Punisher was on the stand, punishing. Punisher was putting it down, baby. Hit the like button, y'all. We got a lot of people here, man. Y'all got to like it up. And we're going to be doing these breakdowns of what really went down in the courtroom. Y'all got to understand what happened with the Punisher when the Punisher took the stand. Now, like the name, when it was first announced that the Punisher was one of the names, everybody cracked up laughing. They was like, the Punisher? Like, yep, it's the Punisher. So automatically I think of the Punisher. Now, the Punisher's got a whole new dirty name to it.
Like permission to treat the witnesses hostile, Your Honor?
Granted.
All right, Frank. You don't want to tell us? I'll tell you. I'll tell you exactly what kind of man you are.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. He had he had a mask like what the Muslim people wear. That's what they was putting into the script. So now they was like, how were these sessions scheduled? And the Punisher like, I've been reached out to at 5 or maybe 7 p.m. later, they asked for a sexy scene, but I knew it would be more. How would it start? Baby oil, sexy atmosphere, and Mr. Combs would direct. How did the direction work? Mr. Combs might say, sit forward, move the camera. Or what would happen sexually? You know, one time doing sex, he dropped a stack of money. He said, I like this. How much baby oil did you use? A lot. A lot. We were supposed to be glistening as much as possible. How long would they last? 4 hours. A lot of waiting, maybe 40 minutes or so. I was supposed to finish in a specific spot. Then what? She would leave with Mr. Combs, 10 or 15 minutes. She'll return in a bathrobe and pay me $2,000 or $1,200 in cash. Did you think Mrs. Ventura was enjoying herself? And Diddy's lawyer was like, objection. They was like, sustain. And they was like, did you use drugs? I'm not a marijuana smoker, but I did pull a Bill Clinton. I was handed a joint. I puffed, but I didn't inhale. They said, did you ever have performance issues? Having the woman's partner there, yes. Did this issue affect your pay? Objection! They was overruled. The judge like, I want to hear this. I wasn't sure how to calculate it. One time, Mr. Combs threw condoms on the couch next to us. I shrugged. It was a failure. Struggle. What happened? He went out. I finished. She came back and thanked me for privacy. What did you think would happen next? I was worried I would not be used again. I haven't done my job. He said, I want to see you F her, and I couldn't. Are you writing a book? Yeah, self-help book about my ED. It's advice. In your book, did you write about the time Mr. Combs and Mrs. Ventura? Yes, I call them a married wealthy couple. How long is it? 6 pages out of the 186. I sensationalized it. I want it to be enjoyable, with highs and lows. No further questions. So now Diddy's lawyer Donaldson steps up. Donaldson's like, I'll take care of the sex worker. I'll take care of the Punisher. So the kingpin walks in to take care of the Punisher. He said, I'll try to make this as harmless as possible. Congratulations on your book. What is this called? In Search of Freezer Meat. What's harder than that? They were like, good title. You have a website? Yeah, I'm a co-owner. All the male dancers are independent contractors. They say, you've been doing this for 25 years, 30 years, coming up on a big anniversary. So they were like, you dance a professional dry hump. For 30 years, thousands of ladies, you try not to develop any feelings for them, right? You try not to, you know? It's a job. So now they say, but you talk to Cassie, right? Cordially. Hit the like button, good people. They trying to come with the sabotage right now. Don't worry. Don't let them knock you off. We staying here. We still directing it. We still laying it down. So they said, yeah. It's like, she asked you to be available to call you, right? Just to set the sessions up. We would never ask to talk. She was comfortable with you, right? She said so. You had feelings for her, right? Incorrect. But you thought she was only doing this with you, right? Yeah, that's correct. She said it was a special occasion. You did develop feelings for her, right? That's not correct. You told the government. Once again, the government notes is entirely different than what they're saying on the stand. The government note said you developed feelings for her. That may have been taken out of context. You used your 24, he's like, you used your 25-year experience, right? This was a different scene. Usually I aim for humor. They say you wouldn't try to dry hump somebody you didn't want to dry hump, correct? Yes, it's important to read the room. So you read the room with Cassie and she won it, right? They was like, objection. They was abstained. Okay, they came in there. They said, okay, was Mr. Combs' request that you penetrate? It was a demand, a strong suggestion. They said, well, Cassie paid you even when she canceled, right? Yeah, $500. Mr. Haynes, I wish you success with your book. Thank you. They's like, redirect. They's like, what made you think Mrs. Ventura was enjoying herself? It was the first time unprotected. Without the details. And they were like, objection. No further questions. Because they knew that was the first thing. They wanted to get off the subject right away. The government made a mistake. You see, the government made a huge mistake here. They asked him a question. They asked him a question that really implicates one main person together, Cassie. It showed she was enjoying herself. And they made a mistake by doing that. And the government, Diddy's lawyer, jumped right onto it. That's why she said without the details. Because she didn't want him to go that farther than say Cassie was enjoying herself. I mean, dude, we are black. A big black dude named the Punisher putting it down on her. I'm quite sure she enjoyed herself. It don't take a rocket scientist to say she was enjoying it. He was back 8 or 12 times. She ain't gonna be coming back. He ain't gonna be coming back that many times if she did not enjoy herself. Now, they decided, the government asked that stupid question. What made you think Mrs. Ventura was enjoying herself? It was the first time unprotected. And once he said that, they was like, without the details, there was objection. She was no further questions. They was like, anything you want to say and recross Mr. Donaldson? They was like, yeah, now that they didn't open up this door, let's go in it. What did you mean by steamy? I felt it was enjoyable for Miss Ventura and Mr. Combs. They were like, it was enjoyable. Okay, that's great. No further questions. So what he's saying is that he felt that Cassie was enjoying herself. He tried to say, now you could tell somebody's been groomed when they use the exact same words other witnesses are using. That's how you know the government has groomed them. They're using the exact same words that the other people that was witnesses come up there. Now, we all know when people take the stands, they're going to have different words of communication that they use to communicate with. They're not going to be using the same exact words. That's how you know somebody's being led, they're being coached. They're making sure they say the very exact word that the lawyers want them to say, and make sure they drop those words just like that. I said, oh, okay, that's the same thing that person said. Same thing this person said. You could tell they're being led. So now, what made this even more revealing than anything is when he gave it up. He gave up all the details. Now, this is a person that's taking money. He's been doing this for 30 years. He's writing a book. He got a website. He told you he's sensationalizing it with highs and lows. So what means you're not sensationalizing it here on the stand? You've already said you've sensationalized your book. You do anything for money, basically. You're using Diddy and Cassie to sell your book. That's what I'm talking about. He keeps emphasizing baby oil, and they keep going over the baby oil. Baby oil. I've heard baby oil so much in Astroglide in this trial so much, it just don't make any sense. It's sensationalizing it. Thank you. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Everybody in here, make sure that y'all are hitting the like button so that they know that you're not a bot. Absolutely. So once again, we're not hearing trafficking and the fact that he's trying to say that Combs would direct them. And the fact that he said that it was important. Oh, there's 78 Sports TV. He said, did you peep how the witness randomly dropped Obama's name with the pills? They had nothing to do with nothing. Yep. They just bashing black men at this point. Exactly. I told them that I made fun about that early on in the beginning when they first started the courtroom. That dude there, David James, he got eviscerated. He's been proven to be a dope head, pill popping, drinking, sleeping with women, paying for sex, all on his own, and he's a liar. So you put him on the stand. You just made your whole case look real stupid, putting that David James guy up there. He just wiped himself clean. He's proven to be a liar and went out and proved that he went out and bought coke when Diddy was asleep. So that means this guy would go buy drugs and without Diddy's permission. Diddy didn't tell him to do anything. And why would you believe him? He's so incredible. Thanks for the super chat. We appreciate that. You see, this is what they don't want you to hear, the truth. They want to put all this garbage on the news, and so that you see all that and get all confused. Then they want to talk about glistening. It was important that we be glistening. Glistening? Isn't that the same thing Cassie said in her testimony? It was important that we be glistening. What are y'all finna do? Say he was extorting people for Johnson & Johnson or the Astroglide company? Where? Please get to your point with this baby oil. Really? Because if I hear another one of these witnesses bring up baby oil again, like, okay, he used baby oil. What is the problem with baby oil? Is that a crime? Jesus Christ. No, it gives credibility to what Cassie said. You think that bald-headed sex worker don't know what Cassie said in the courtroom. It's all over the goddamn internet. He probably watching this right now. You think he don't know? This dude's trying to sell a book. Then he made a mistake all the way at the end. When he said that it was the first time they did it without protection, that's how he felt she was enjoying herself. They was like, without the details. Too late. He felt it was enjoyable for Miss Ventura and Mr. Combs. So now you're destroying Cassie's whole argument that she wasn't enjoying it, because that was her thing. Like, she didn't want to do it. It was not having fun. You're not having fun. Please, come on. Now we getting ridiculous. So now the next government witness, they bring on a special agent back to the floor. Gerald Gannon, where did you work? HSI in Miami, the National Security Group, in March of 2024. That's the human trafficking group. Okay, now we get into some charges around here. What time did the search begin? After 3 p.m. Why so late? We learned Mr. Coleman and his family might be flying out of the country. Were there a pier on the property of Star Island? Yes, we had to monitor it. They said, where did you have to break open the gate? To make sure the bad actors wouldn't have time to put those who would search in danger. What photo is this? This is a pool on the pier. They said, well, what did you find in there? Parts are AR-15 rifles, sex toys, and some Astroglide. These magazines were loaded full of bullets. What does these show? The serial numbers have been cut out. Let's turn to 2 more exhibits. What are these? This is ammunition that we found. And what are these platform high heels? How high are they? About 7 inches. This may be a good place to break for the day. So they decided to take a break for the day. Right? Everybody's like, oh man, this is crazy. Oh, how we gonna break it right there? No, don't do this. So what are they doing now is trying to go into the actual evidence that they have. They're finally getting to the guns. They got guns. We got guns. So HSI is a human trafficking group, right? Well, they deal with group sex, labor in Miami. So they're asking about the guns and the search and what they found in the clip and all this stuff, right? So if the serial numbers are filed off, the possessions were not found on Diddy. They was found in a room. He doesn't stay in that place. He has security, countless of people in the building. It's not like a person like me and you. Plus, it's Florida. Good luck with the gun charges. But good luck with the gun charges trying to stick. You know what I'm saying? Good luck with that. He said they are kink shaming Diddy and telling you it's gonna backfire. The men on that jury ain't gonna like that. People are freaks in 2025. Also, it ain't like Cassie sleeping with the entire city of New York, but acting like a villain. I know. That's what I'm saying. She is a freakazoid. So what happened when she was sleeping with other people outside of Diddy? So they trying to say the only time she got down with a sex worker was with Diddy. I smell lies. Now, right away, they can find magazines, they can find cartridges, they can find all that, they can have the numbers scratch off. He's a celebrity. He has security. He has a big house in his house. Those guns that they found in a raid, he can say, I've never seen those guns before in my life. My fingerprints ain't on those guns. It ain't on the bullets. It ain't on the magazine. None of it. My security probably had those in there in case somebody stormed my house or something. I'm a celebrity. Why are we talking about this? So now, and in Florida, I could stand my own ground. But I have security that come in my house, and there might be some guns that they left there. I have no idea. It's a very big house, very big place. I'm not in every room. Sometimes I'm never in my bedroom. It's like, well, we found it in the bedroom. Well, that doesn't mean it's me. You didn't find it on me. So you're going to have a hard time proving circumstantial evidence like that on a celebrity. Now, Kid Cudi is supposedly coming tomorrow. That'll be interesting. But why do everyone act as if this is a slam dunk case? Why is everybody acting like this is a slam dunk case? That's all I'm hearing. Still, man, they really exposed it. I'm just glad they got to some charges and talking about stuff that's not domestic violence. Every week, I've heard domestic violence for 5-6 days. It's like, come on, can we get to the charges? Now they finally getting to the charges. I guess they didn't shock and all the jury enough, and the jury's probably exhausted with all this doggone domestic violence. Like, how many times do we got to hear that? They gonna probably get tired of hearing about baby oil and glistening and Astroglide. Once again, here comes this, another witness comes in and he mentions Astroglide by name. It's amazing that everybody that walks in there seems to know Astroglide by name. I didn't know what Astroglide was until this trial. You got one guy knows this, I got a purple top. Shouts out to 78 Sports TV. Don't forget to follow him. Because he know like I know. He's a black man that sees what's going on out here and reporting the truth. He ain't a black man that's out here trying to courtate everything to try to pretend like they care about Cassie and protecting women. Oh, I'm protecting women, man. I'm protecting women. Oh, you doing it for hits and views, clown. That's all you doing it for. You gonna follow the agenda as long as they tell you to, Toby. But what do I expect from a black man not from America? They don't know anything. Mm-hmm. Am I covering each day? Yes, I am. So now that I've been covering each day, we can also cover something right now. Let's go back to what the defense didn't even want to go into. Let's go into Cassie's mama. Let's go into Cassie's mama for a minute. Cassie's mama is the one, her and her daddy put Cassie out there to work, wanted her to be a model, put her in the environment, knowing she was going at it with Diddy, going at it with these assaults and everything else. And you know what her mom did? Like, girl, work it out. And they was like, just come home, Cassie. You ain't got to put up with that. Come home. Cassie said, nah, I want to stay. I love him. Why did she tell you that? That she begged her daughter to come home, but you put your daughter in that environment when she was dating, she was dating Ryan Leslie. When she was dating Ryan Leslie, he was 10 years older than her. He damn near 30. And she's like, what is he, about 27, 28 at the time? And she was like 17, 18, dating this dude. He's in the industry though, Mom. Ain't nobody talking about him. Nobody talking about Ryan Leslie right now, are they? And you know why they not talking about Ryan Leslie? Because they know they want to keep that quiet and hopefully they can get him to come to the stand. And all these people are not credible. How they credible and they got civil suits? You put Dawn Richards on there. She has a civil suit against Diddy. You put this person on the stand. He got a doggone book coming out. He's got a book already out and he got a doggone website where he's doing all this. He's trying to market. All these people are out for money and they're disgruntled employees, drug addicts, been fired, been let go. They all got an axe to grind. Let's just throw them on the stand so they can make up stuff. Their credibility is zero. Absolute zero. All right, you might as well put Jaguar right up there. She gonna call out everybody. Yeah, Dawn's gonna lose her lawsuit, civil suit against Diddy, and she gonna be like mad because she gonna be broke. And her testimony did nothing but hurt the prosecution. David James or whatever, his testimony was horrific. He looked like the most unincredible man ever. Well, I'm waiting for them to bring in the home run ball. The best witness they had. According to me, the defense is winning everything. Well, thanks, Reed Gotti, for your support of the channel. And you said, I believe that the defense is winning everything. No, the defense doesn't have to win. You see, the prosecution has to win. Diddy is innocent. They have to prove he is guilty of the charges. You see, that's the problem. He don't have to sit there. He's there defending himself against the claims that are made against him. Yes, he's innocent until proven guilty. You have to be proven guilty in a court of law. So far, he's been found proven guilty of nothing. None of the charges. Yeah, beyond a reasonable doubt. This trial should have been called a mistrial. Any other courtroom without celebrity and all of this would have been a mistrial by the people they put on the stand. You put somebody on there with a civil case already against Mr. Combs that he's already filed to have dismissed. You're going to put that in play. Well, it says that they have no evidence. I knew they had nothing when they put together the charges, and the case was all a big jumble part of social media nonsense. That's why they let Tony Busby go along with all these doggone 120 some civil suits, all the salaciousness, so people could think that's all in the trial, and it's not. There's no underage girls in the trial. There's none of that garbage that they put in their salaciousness. All the celebrities that's in the trial, and they just dropping celebrities' names so that they'll pick it up on the news. Oh, they mentioned Neo today, and they mentioned Usher in the courtroom. That don't mean nothing. like what are we doing here? Seriously, what are we doing here? Did they mention them doing a crime? Did they mention that, hey, they said Usher witnessed her get hit? A lot of people saw her get hit. He's not being charged for assault. He's not being charged for domestic. Why do we keep talking about Cassie getting hit? We know she got hit. We saw it on tape. My goodness. The man admitted it in opening statements. They did not deny any of it. So why do we keep talking about her getting hit? They proved prostitution across state lines. They did not prove that. The people that they see in the state lines, one, you don't have a connection to Diddy with that at all. He's paying cash. So there's no record of him doing any of that on the business accounts or anything. And you have to, and the law is you have to be doing that with the full purposes of they're there just for sex. And when did he fly these people out past, state lines just for sex? So they asked him, did he fly you out here and there? They didn't prove it. You just have a witness that said he was there and he did this. They don't have the evidence to say that this is what happened. Oh, did Diddy pay you? No, Cassie paid me. So Cassie's the one paying it. So they got Cassie for doing that. Diddy would go in a room, they said, and then Cassie would come out and pay the guy. So if Diddy's not doing any of it, Diddy ain't saying, here's some money for you. He's a participant. If anybody was doing it, it was Cassie. She was setting it up. She did all of these things. So if he's guilty, she's definitely guilty. What's up, KB? Yeah, we just went over the transcript. But what they said up in court, and I was telling them today was not a good day I was just glad they finally got to some evidence that they're charging him with. Today was the first day they decided to go after the evidence. And the only thing today that I think that was hurtful to Sean Combs, or could be, was the mother's testimony that they took out a loan to pay him because he said that he was going to release a tape on Cassie and he wanted his money back over this Kid Cudi situation. And they took a $20,000 loan that he wanted $20,000. That could be damaging. And they didn't challenge her. The defense was like, nah, we ain't gonna question the mama. We're gonna just let the mama come and go. So they gonna let her come and go. So they didn't even cross-examine her on that. Now that one line out of the whole today was damaging. Nothing else was said today was damaging. Everything else was a throwaway. David James, the man who said he bought an 8-ball of coke while Diddy was asleep in San Tropez. The guy who went out there and partied and said he took drugs, he got down. This guy is supposed to be the personal assistant. He doing everything a personal assistant ain't supposed to do. He's talking about he almost got fired because from smoking weed when Diddy called him. Like, hey, man, you ain't supposed to be smoking weed. I thought you was going in for the night. My bad. He was like, if I catch you again, you fired. So he's a druggie. Then he lied about Diddy talking about filing a police report. So he never filed a police report. He put his hands on the chef, not Diddy. He put his hands on the chef and got physical with the chef. Then rolled up a blunt and gave it to her. That was, Diddy said, man, you can't be putting your hands on women, man. Go on up there and go get her a gift and apologize. And he rolled up a blunt and gave it to her. And he's like, did she seem pleased? Yeah, she did. She smoked it. Like, hey, she seemed cool with the blunt. So this guy really just damned the whole prosecution. Then the sex worker came up there and really messed up. Because they come up there with the coached questions and they use the same lines that the government give to all of them to use, and they all follow it all the way through. And baby oil seemed to be a big thing in this trial. I'm like, did he steal a baby oil truck or something? Did we got that? Why does Astroglide? Has he got stock in Astroglide or something? What is going on? Y'all trying to sink Johnson & Johnson or something? What does this matter? They have not connected the dot with Astroglide or nothing. They actually showed pictures of Astroglide. Like, what are you doing? He want us glistening. They make sure they say that. And they make sure they name drop Astroglide. You think it was strategic to have 5 white women take the case? The former FBI director, Comey, his daughter takes over the case as the head prosecutor. Come on now. You know what this is. You know what this is. You know Comey is crooked. He crooked as a barrel of snakes, don't you? No, because the sex worker messed up by saying that Cassie was enjoying herself. He's like, that was the first time we did it. He's like, what? In the government, they was stupid enough to ask the question. They the ones asked the question. They said, what made you think Cassie was enjoying it? Oh, because it was the first time we did it without protection. Without the details. They was objection. They was objecting. The defense was objecting the question that the defense wanted to ask. They were so happy the prosecution asked that question. They was like, that's dumb as hell. You asking the question we want to ask. But go ahead. And then he gave up too much information. They said objection. Like, no, let him keep going, Your Honor. There was no further questions, Your Honor. Get the sex worker off the stand. The Punisher is punishing us. All that good he was doing for them. He was doing all the good, giving them all the details on what he do. But he's incriminated. He's writing a book. He got a book already. Yeah, I got 186 pages, but only a few about Cassie and Diddy. So he already admit he got a book coming out about erectile dysfunction and how he couldn't perform with Cassie and Diddy. Then he told him that Cassie was enjoying herself because the way she was moving up and down on him and vibrating and the way she was into it. So they were saying like, man, it's quite obvious. You could read the room. She was into it. Yeah. So he was messing up. Keith, stop. Okay, stop. Okay, stop. That's not the RICO case right there because the mom said it. But that's the most damning line that was done because that's extortion, right? That's extortion. Right? If you're threatening to release a sex tape, even though it's way back then, you can't even do that kind of stuff. No, you can't even threaten to put a picture out of them. And you could be sued in today's time. But this is way back then. And the fact that he asked for $20,000 for damages, we don't know what those damages are for or about, or will it be mentioned again. But once again, you have to prove without a shadow of a doubt that's what that was for. He asked when he asked for the $20,000. Because he said $20,000 was for the damages. The damages. So something happened with Kid Cudi and everything else. He wanted 20,000 for damages. He didn't say, give me 20,000 while I'm gonna release this tape. That's extortion. So to get that clarified, they just chose not to even go with the mom because that's the mother. That's sympathy. That's too much. Just get her off the stand and deal with everything else and leave it up to the prosecution to have to prove that. You see, y'all have to understand law. I mean, I'm not going by the law of a guy that's, you know, forget, I'm not going by his logic of the law. The law says you have to prove that someone is guilty. Okay, you have to prove that. So you have to prove that the $20,000 was for him not to release the tape, not for the damages that he said in the actual transcripts that they got. So I understand why you believe that. Hey, that's the case right there. That's the whole case. That's all they need. Then why do you got 17 more witnesses? See, this is why I tell you, when you listen to idiots and then you repeat what idiots say, it makes you look bad. It makes you look real bad. And instead of making yourself look stupid, just come here. Okay? Just come here. You will never look stupid leaving here. That's one thing. You'll never take what we said here and run somewhere and they be like, man, that's stupid. They be, nah, that's not stupid. That's actually the law. Now, the gun situation, when this guy's breaking down the guns, that's going to be hard to prove because Diddy is a celebrity, one. It's Miami, two. Yes, they're assault rifles, AR-15s. The numbers are sawed off. It was called defacing. So the numbers are defaced. And there's bullets in the cartridges and everything, and they found it in a closet in his Miami home. But yet, Diddy has security in his house. He hired people to be security. His prints are not on the guns. His prints are not on the bullets. So if you don't have his fingerprints on the bullets, you don't have his fingerprints on the gun, and you just got defacing and that you found it in his room, that could be anybody's. Multiple people stay in his home. He's a celebrity. He's in a whole different stature. That's going to be hard to get a conviction on them guns, and they know that. The government knows that. That's why the guns was never the big focal point of the investigation. That's why they kept it with trafficking and RICO and all this. So, no. I mean, that was the most damning line of the whole day. I would ask you, what did the sex worker say that was damning? I'm open to ears. What did he say that was damning? Let's have the dialogue. Right. This is not New York, even though they put it under New York law by using the International Continental Hotel incident in that video. Like somebody said, I don't want to repeat that person's name, but y'all know who it is, said that they didn't really need Cassie. Cassie ain't the star. She's not the main witness. They got way more people than that that's going to do Diddy, and Cassie ain't nothing, because Cassie testimony now, once they cross-examined her, was so bad. Now they want to throw Cassie to the meat. No, Cassie ain't nothing. Cassie y'all made Cassie the big thing. Y'all made Cassie the big thing. Wait till you hear these other witnesses that's coming up. They the ones gonna do Diddy in, man. Cassie ain't nothing. Cassie ain't nothing. Without Cassie, there's no case. She's what they call the star witness. That's why I say stop repeating what these other idiots tell you, because they gonna make you look bad. Cassie is what they call the star witness. That's why she went first in the trial. They wanted to get her up right away because she is the star witness. They know she's near pregnancy, where she's near due, so they can't call her back to the stand. And if they put any more evidence into trial, they can call Cassie back to the stand. The defense can't. Then they don't want that. They said, well, in her condition, she might not be able to come, Your Honor. They was like, well, then the evidence is out. You can't bring this evidence into trial. It's out. Because they say, if you want to bring this evidence into trial, the defense get to cross-examine her. Then they said, well, you know, will she be available to come back? Well, I don't know, Your Honor, because, you know, in her state, and she might not be able to come back, Your Honor. You know, we don't know if we have it. Well, then it's out. It's out. It's out. I'm not even going to argue with you no more. Evidence is out. So that's what they trying to play. They playing games. Once again, playing games and getting caught. And none of these people are talking about the transcripts, because the transcripts tell you exactly what's going on in the courtroom. They don't want to do that. They want to come in there and summarize and put theory to what they think is going on in there. They take one line out of what somebody said in testimony and go, ooh, yeah, and this is what's happening. Oh, they got him now. Like, really? They got him now? Then damn. Why do we need 17 more witnesses? They can stop this right now then. They got him. He got to be convicted on all the counts, right? If there's reasonable doubt on one of the charges, or if he found innocent on one of the charges, they think he's guilty of this, but might be innocent of that, it's over. This really is a mistrial. But they spent, it's so popularized, they got to keep it going. But this is a mistrial. 100%. When they put Don Richards on the stand, it was a mistrial. David James, that's a mistrial. All of this stuff right here, if you got a civil lawsuit against somebody and you put them on the witness stand and they've already filed a dismissal for the civil suit and put her on there on the stand, and they're going down the lines of social media garbage, the judge already said, like, I kind of feel like you guys are going to have to do better and bring this case back to the charges, because I think we're going towards social media. And I'm kind of feeling like, just like, yes, Judge, you've been manipulated. They've manipulated you, and so they can throw all this social media slander and dropping celebrity names that don't mean nothing. They mentioned Michael B. Jordan in South Africa. For what? What happened in South Africa? Nothing. Diddy wasn't in South Africa. I know that. None of these other bums told you that, because they didn't know nothing about it until they learned about it in the courtroom. I told you this months ago about what happened in South Africa and why Diddy was upset. They don't know any damn thing. So what could they tell you? So they got to learn about it when it happens in the trial. Now, the question y'all should say is, damn, Sino did say that about 5 months ago about Honey 3. Why didn't they know about Honey 3? Because they don't know a goddamn thing. They just making it up as they go. Making 45 videos in one day about the one day in the trial that went down. Right. Not credible. If you got a witness on the stand who admitted that he bought an 8-ball of cocaine in Saint-Tropez when Diddy was asleep, tells you this dude buys drugs all the time. So how you gonna say Diddy told me to buy the drugs? He approved that he was a liar because he said he filed the police report and he didn't. He lied on the stand. They said, did you? So you lied to Mr. Combs when you said that you filed a police report, right? Yes. No further questions, Your Honor, because he's proven to be a liar. He's proven to be a drug addict. He pops pills, buys coke behind Diddy's back, doing stuff, getting busted, smoking weed, and then lied about it and said, I ain't doing nothing. He's like, man, I expect you to be honest. So he already knows that this person isn't honest. This person's credibility is ruined. And you put him on the stand. He just made your case look real stupid. Because now, how can you trust anything that he say now? He's talking about Mel's Diner, and that's completely different than what Gene Deal just said on YouTube. That D-Rock told him about the incident. Way different incident than what Cassie described it as. So now you got 3 people giving you 3 different stories about Mel's Diner. When I know they met, the Mel's Diner incident is a whole different encounter. They met at the Beverly Hills Hotel, where Roger Bonds had told the story already. that they came down and had a conversation. Diddy came down from the room. He just happened to be in the same hotel as Diddy. So who's lying? Who's telling the truth? And what does it have to do with the case? You see what I'm saying? What does it have to do with the case? Nothing. Mm-hmm. Will Gene Deal be called to the stand? Here's the thing. Why would Gene Deal be called to the stand? Gene Deal hasn't been mentioned nowhere in this trial. But if they want to bring him in there to give credibility to something, but if they do that and they put Gene on the stand, this is going to look real bad on Gene. He should not be wanting to be on the stand. I'm like, what next they going to bring up? I'll be sure. Pretty much. See, what y'all did was just what you just said right there. You just opened up the business. I listen to the transcripts and I take it and I'll listen to the evidence that's being provided. And I make my assessments based off of what they're saying. And I know what the prosecution is saying and I know what the defense is saying. I listen to both sides. So I wait till I hear from Cross. I know what the prosecution want them to land on, and I know what the defense is saying. What I'm not getting from them is that we got the domestic situation, but this is not about domestic. It's not about assault. So today they want to hammer on some charges that would center around trafficking. They tried to prove that Diddy was, in control of things and was arranging people to be, trafficked from state to state, but there's no proof of it. There is no financial proof saying Diddy paid these people at all, except for they were paid in cash and Diddy was just happened to be there. They said they were flown out from here and there for those purposes, and they said, well, that's proof right there. That's sex trafficking right there. Their sole purpose was to come there and to have sex. That's international. That's trafficking. Only if the person is not, if it's non-consensual. Okay? It has to be non-consensual. So Cassie they have to prove that it was non-consensual. And that's very hard for the government to do. And that's the case, they can arrest anybody. If you fly your girl to the Maldives and y'all finna have sex over there, oh, you trafficked her. You just trafficked her. Y'all went past state lines. You took her from her crib, flew her out there for sex. That's trafficking. So it has to be consensual. It has to be non-consensual. Like she was forced into having sex with somebody that they flew over for those purposes. So it's none of that has been proven. So if anybody's telling you they've already proven that person's a clown, and you should address them as that. Say, look, you said that, you're a clown. because they have not proven that. Because what they have is a contradiction from her story, from her saying she didn't enjoy. She's saying that, oh, when the prosecution asked her that, oh, she didn't like it, but then when they cross-examined her, you see she enjoyed it very much, and that she was, and all her text messages suggest very much so that she loved it and wanted it. I kept asking for more. So it's going to be hard to prove non-consensual. See, all they have to do is just show that she was enjoying it and she wanted it. You have to really work to prove. So that's why they're using all these witnesses to try to say, well, he directed it, so she was under control because he directed it. But when he gave a description of what was the direction, and he was just like, move closer to the camera, like, y'all get close to the camera, he pulls some money down. It's not what it's not like, get in there, you better have sex. And saying that she was enjoying it is letting him know that it wasn't forced. And the more they tried to say that, when they got to the end, she chose to say, okay, we not finna use protection. That's how he knew she was into it. Like, I don't want protection. I want to feel this. So now that's it. I don't agree with what Gene's doing with Diddy. No. Even if this was somebody I didn't like, I wouldn't do that. I would never do that, what he's doing. But he's a grown man. But however he feel he got an axe to grind with Diddy, that's fine. But some of the things he's doing, I don't agree with. I think it's foul. Like his homeboy that created the logo, that Diddy he came to Diddy for money, and he was like, Diddy didn't give him no money, and he was on dialysis. And then he was like, he owed some gangsters. And Puff, after all he did, deferred. He gave Puff. He did that design, and Puff ain't gave him nothing. And he said, man, let me just did some, I owe some people some money. And he said the next day he was dead. So he made it look like these people was gonna kill D-Ferg, and Diddy didn't give him the money. He had money that Diddy didn't even know that he had. Gene did, and he gave it to Diddy. D-Ferg is a Harlem legend, right? Fashion, design, everything. So they were all in the same clique called the same gang. So Gene and all of them, they was all together. That's like one of his brothers, Diddy, and all that. So ASAP Ferg, that's his pops. So when Diddy was there with ASAP Ferg, I don't know how this upset Gene. Gene was like, you ain't even give his father no money when he came to you and said, I owe some cats some money. You ain't even give him no money. So I can't even respect you. Now you 3 hots in a cop. So yeah, he said rest in peace to D-Ferg. And that's why ASAP Ferg was right next to Diddy though, through this whole thing. Because they came up as Harlem. So Diddy was gonna make sure ASAP Ferg was straight. So Diddy gave props to him, same gang, the whole nine. So this whole thing all took a turn and went towards another direction when they went to a whole new movement, you know, because he made it seem like somebody took out D-Ferg. That's the only problem I had with Gene on that situation is don't insinuate like Diddy didn't give him the money and then whoever he owed the money to took him out. And that's not what happened to him. D-Ferg died. Um, I don't know what he talking about that day with the money. That's Gene's story you could tell, but D-Ferg died from his liver failure. He was on dialysis. He had like liver kidney failure, and that's what he died from. He didn't die from nobody doing nothing to him or nothing like that. So the way Gene told that story, it just made it look like Diddy didn't give him the money, and then them dudes took him out. Whoever he owed, he was dead the next day. So he didn't say that, but the way he told the story insinuated that Diddy didn't give him the money, and the next day D Ferg was dead, and I was mad. And that's why I'm mad. I'm like, dude, D Ferg died from his illness. He was on dialysis, man. You see, that's why fools will be fools. Fools will forever be fools. Yeah, I think he just don't like Diddy so much now. It's just like it's insane, some of it. But like I said, he got his personal reason. That's Diddy and ASAP right there. But he got his reasons, I guess, for whatever the reasons may be. But it sounds like a scorned person, like a disgruntled employee. But when you keep going on all these shows and all this stuff and doing this is like for the bag, now it look like it's just for money. So now it's like, which one is it? Are you doing this just for the money? Or you really got the integrity? I don't know which one it is no more. So that's why I just like, hey man, whatever Gene said, he's just saying. He know him, whatever problems he got with him, he got with him. You just take it how it comes. Gene's wife called him up, asked him why he didn't put the dishes up, and he blamed Diddy. It was Puff, man. I'm over here talking about Puff so much I forgot to put the dishes up. I'm coming, baby. Damn Puff. Well, you got to understand that when you put this trial together, you're going to have to go back. The witnesses are so, not the witnesses, the jury are so overwhelmed with a lot of evidence. There's stuff they have to take out, there's stuff they have to include in there. And it's so much being done that a lot of people are blown away by what they brought into the spectrum now. And by having Law and Crime, and they say, well, Law and Crime says something different. So, you're saying this, but Law and Crime is saying this. They're entertaining for their people, their audience. They're being entertaining for the audience. Right. They gave the identity of all those sex workers that they had out there, right? Right. Teasers, tails. Right. What was her line today? Diddy got destroyed in court today. When did he get destroyed in court? When didn't he get destroyed in court? Tell me one time Teaser Tails said he didn't get destroyed in court. Every every credible lawyer I know has said the same thing. This is kind of getting off the rails of what the charges was. All for 6 days. After yesterday, they still saying, well, we kind of in the salaciousness of everything. We covered domestic violence. He's not been charged to that. Today was the only day they tried to nail down the actual charges. 7 days into a trial, you're going to start trying to go after the charges. Like I said, that was the only blow because all the other witnesses were proven to not be credible. They can't be trusted to be credible at anything. All right, you can't prove him to be credible if you're proven to be a liar. If they prove you to be the liar, your credibility is nothing. So they used you to prove you was a liar on the stand. Well, the law and crime lawyer, the guy who's doing sidebar, Jesse Weber, from Law and Crime, look at him. I want y'all to see something about Jesse Weber, who's in here trying to paint the story like Diddy's the villain and all this. I want y'all to see what's really taking place here. I want y'all to focus on something. Now, I want y'all to take a look here. You don't notice anything a little different about Jesse Weber today? I told you, see, don't pay attention to everything. He got a star on his eye. You know where he got that star from? That's from eating out your boyfriend's booty hole, boy. Man, tell your boyfriend to wash before you put your face in his ass. Steven Weber. Make sure you go in there and wash. You dirty, nasty McFilthy. You getting your Diddy on it. Jesse Weber. Now, I notice everything. Go to the doctor. See what I told you about these clowns? I tell you about these clowns. Probably married to the guy from TMZ. Probably married to Harvey Levin. Dirty, nasty McFilthies. Carrie Morgan was there to do what? What was they there to do? Carrie Morgan was there yesterday to do what? to prove Diddy was an abuser. She wasn't around. She wasn't around. She was there to see Diddy put hands on her. Yes. He put hands on this woman. Okay. She put hands on him. They're in a violent relationship. She's out the picture. So now they're trying to say the deal, well, Cassie didn't have no money. Diddy paid me. Cassie paid you. She admitted that she paid half of it. So Cassie paid you. To shut up about the hanger incident. Now, what is very noticeable here, and I want y'all to pay attention to what's noticeable in this courtroom. What they testified to in March in the government notes, which is what the defense has. They're saying different things on the stand than what's in the government notes. I want that to be paid attention to, because that's very vital. They got how many more witnesses they got to lie before they call it into this? You got to wait till the prosecution rests. When they only got about a couple more weeks. They got, I think, like 7 more weeks. So this is going to last to about June. And then that's it. We got to get this thing over with. If this thing goes all the way to July, 4th of July weekend, people going to want to be out. Them jury going to be antsy, and they want the jury to be antsy. They want the jury, the prosecution, want them to blow the whole summer on this trial. And they're going to be like, man, come on, man, let's just find him guilty and let's go home. That's what they want. Why you think they got Cassie in here like her belly about to explode so she can get mercy and sympathy from the jury? Then if she gone, well, she can't come back because she's about to have a baby now. And it's at any minute, so we can't call her back to the stand. And her condition, and it's going to be hard for her to fly in her condition. So it's just going to be too much to call her back to the stand. No, it ain't. Now, all of these people who had this revelation about Diddy and what he was about and all of this trial and salaciousness, right? I'm here to say, bring it on. What questions that you got to ask me about this trial? Go ahead. You for the prosecution. You tell me what they said that's damning on Diddy so bad that he's already guilty. What they got on him that they've already presented? What they got on him? I never said he won't be found guilty. I'm saying he's not guilty of the charges that they're providing for him. They presented. I never said that he wouldn't get found guilty. I'm just saying he shouldn't be found guilty. He should be out of jail right now. His former assistant blew the case. That former assistant was a nincompoop. I didn't know why they put him on the stand. He was the most damaging witness to the prosecution today. He got caught in so many lies and admitted that he was a liar. He don't even realize he damaged himself beyond comprehension, and then the Punisher just did worse. Yep, Mac Jeffries got his 50 million, and for 10 million, he never even spent a night in jail. And he got about 300 men and boys going after all three of them. He got to go home. And he want the case dismissed. He want his name off the case. He proving that he's mentally capable to stand trial. He doing all kind of goofiness. None of it's making TMZ. People miss a lot when they watch trials. Right, I'm reading your comments. I'm asking exactly what y'all saying. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, so you ask any questions you want about the trial. I'm not defending Diddy. I'm defending the evidence that's against Diddy. I'm not seeing enough to prosecute him. So far, what they presented, nope. Mm-hmm. Well, you want to see what's going on, right? You want to see what's really transpiring out there instead of having like all these additional clown dudes doing what they doing. Well, it's kind of distasteful. It's kind of distasteful. Shouts out to Kwame Brown, Bust Life, a real one. David James ruined himself. Don Richards ruined herself on the trial. Who will be next? Who shall be next? Hmm? Right. I'm not doing clickbait titles. I'm not saying Diddy's going to prison for life after the feds prove something when the case is still going. The feds ain't proved a damn thing. You see, this is when you got clowns doing stuff for clickbait. We talking about Capricorn Clark, who I've talked about I talked about Capricorn Clark about 2 years ago. Carcino Capricorn Clark. Let me see. Carcino for life, Capricorn Clark. Let me see if it's on here. It might not. It might be harder to do on the television. It brings me back to my video. The video I'm on right now. No, because if it's real like that, and you looking at all the evidence and you looking at the scenes, you're not going to take that type of approach. Because see, they're losing witnesses who's dropping out. And that's a major situation there. Because all of these people that are supposedly the ones, right? People keep coming up with more salacious implications to what's going on that they don't even know. They're not bringing awareness to the case. They just out here doing clickbait. And if you're not smart enough to see that, then that's on you. We didn't showed you already. Like, you should know anyway. Anybody telling you Diddy's guilty of this, Diddy's guilty of that, in the titles, you already know you can't trust that. I can't trust you. Now you just clickbait me. I was like, I wouldn't even click on it. After the feds prove this, he's already guilty. It's like, serious? Capricorn Clark, I might have put that on the Patreon. Now, if you're on my Patreon, you already got a treat of your life yesterday. So today I'm letting y'all rest. Mm-hmm. Anybody could say he's guilty as sin, but when you need to add on there is based upon the evidence. We've seen this thus far. Exactly. Normally they are on these clickbaits, but now clickbaits has been like the new thing now. Somebody telling somebody today that somebody got fired. They just make up all kind of stuff nowadays. I'm like, that don't make no sense. Clickbait just gotten way out of control. Does anybody care about facts anymore? Damn. There's always some type of interjection when it comes to people's ideals of how they view their life. Like one of the witnesses is a devoted, Christian. He's a devoted Christian man, and all of this is against his faith and religion. So they said, look, whatever faith, whatever religion you is, block it out. This is not about you. This is about, your beliefs. And you might find that this person's sexual behavior is sickening. But what they trying to do is make you discuss Diddy so much with his sexual history that you don't focus on the charges. Because if you had him dead to rights with the evidence, you wouldn't have to lay it on so thick. You can just go with the evidence, but the evidence is so thin, they have to take this angle. To what they call muddy the pool, which is basically grounds for mistrial, because now it's all social media talk and salaciousness they didn't heard and trying to add it to the trial. And the judge is aware of it now. So now today they decided to spark it up. Yeah, well, when it's all said and done, you'll see who's where and what, you know. People do what they do. I don't want to see anybody who's saying Diddy is like, we got to look at this thing full circle. I'm going off the transcripts. If you ain't giving me what's on the transcripts and you giving me blah, 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 I'm not caring. I need to go what's off them transcripts. That's telling me what was said in the trial, what was said in count and cross. I'm going off the evidence. So if you ain't going off the evidence, you going off social media, I can't talk to you. We have nothing to talk about. You going off what they said on social media, what they said on the news. I don't want the news is skewed right along with social media. The lines have been blurred. It's all the same. If they not going off the actual evidence, I don't want to hear it. So on that note, shouts out to Kwame Brown Bus Life. Shouts out to Welcome to HDII TV, Sports Talk with Jose Rodriguez, 78 Sports TV, 2 Raw for TV. A lot of TVs in there. My One Crack News and my Casino for Life Patreon, which all of y'all should be a part of if you ain't already. And why? Because all of those people are being real. Okay? They're not faking the funk for hits and views. They're not taking the road less traveled just for some hits and clicks. They don't have to do clickbait. They don't have to do all these things. You know why? Because they can just focus on the facts. That's all they care about, what's real. And I like to watch, my time is short. I'm not going to waste my time watching clickbait. I'm sorry, I can't do it. So, thank y'all. See y'all tomorrow.